Okay, so we need to talk about these updates because this is, uh, this is bad. This sounds awful. This sounds horrendous. So the main attraction here is the slugging and tunneling, de-incentivization, all that jazz. So now, with these changes, if a survivor is left in the dying state for a total of 90 seconds, they get the ability to pick themselves up. It doesn't say that this has a limit, it doesn't say this deactivates at endgame, it's just if you're slugged long enough, hey, you get to pick yourself up, which sounds bad enough as is, but also, we get base kit tenacity passive recovery, so we recover while crawling, and crawling speed increases gradually as you're slugged, so no. Their explanation for all of this is they want to make slugging less boring, but I really don't see the point because we're all just gonna crawl to pallets and sit there anyway, so I don't really see where they think we're gonna go. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't compute to me. Like, I understand wanting to de-incentivize a boring playstyle, but at the same time, it gets to a point where you're doubling down a little bit too hard on the whole thing, trying to make it more enjoyable for the other side. You're not gonna make slugging enjoyable for the other side, no matter what you do. And removing it entirely just gives flashlight squads way more power than they really should have. Then we have tunneling reduction. This entire anti-tunneling thing is a long list of nonsense that I especially don't understand the thought process. Well, I get the thought process behind it, I just don't get why they think this is actually going to fix anything. When a survivor is hooked, their hook status is hidden from the killer. When they're unhooked, there's no notification and their hook status isn't revealed immediately. So, we don't get told when an unhook happens, and I guess we don't get to see if they've hit second stage or not, that kind of thing. As usual, this kind of thing, just like anti-camp, deactivates when endgame is reached. Now, there's also changes to what happens when you get unhooked, which these sound interesting, to say the least. You don't have collision with other players, including the killer, anymore, which means people aren't going to be able to body block off hook, which, I mean, I don't guess is necessarily a bad thing, but also, I didn't mind that. It was a valid strategy. Immunity to killer instinct. This one, I don't necessarily understand the thought process behind. I feel like the only situation in which you'd get marked by killer instinct off hook is if you're going against a Freddy and the person who unhooks you is asleep and starts trying to heal you. The effects are lost whenever the affected survivor performs a conspicuous action. This I do like. This makes sense. All of these effects, as they already stated, I don't know why they said it twice, deactivate when endgame comes around. Now, they're also trying to incentivize not tunneling as killer by giving you buffs when you hook a survivor that you didn't hook last. So these unique hooks give you different buffs, which seem to include half-ass base kit Pop Goes the Weasel, which sounds a bit problematic. I'm also not too mad about haste, but also that also seems a little bit pointless. But this is the big thing. Temporarily reveals survivors, think base kit, barbecue, and chili, that have less or equal hook states to the hooked survivor. Meaning, if you cycle your hooks in any way, shape, or form, you basically always get barbecue. Base kit, barbecue. Why? Why would we do this? Why? Their solution to every problem that occurs is to make more perks base kit. These effects are disabled once all generators are completed. Not that I think those effects would do anything in endgame in the first place, but, you know. Then we have this. This is interesting. Added a new effect that de-incentivizes tunneling. If a survivor dies before 6 total hook states, all remaining survivors gain a repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. I suppose this means if someone brings a luck offering and then kills themselves on the hook, survivors get a repair speed bonus. Which honestly, it sounds rough, but I don't mind it. because if a survivor does go next, I feel like it's fair that the other survivors in the trial get a little bit more of a chance to get things done. So I don't mind this, but I feel like this could end up being a little bit of an issue. Then this I don't understand. If the survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed, generators cannot be regressed or blocked. If you do decide to tunnel someone out for any reason before the last generator pops, you don't get to kick or block generators. What? Why? Like, this whole thing, I don't understand. Because BHVR on so many occasions has said slugging and tunneling, they're valid killer strategies, and you shouldn't report for them or anything. They're just strategies. And yet, then they turn around and they do something like this, where it's like, if you use these strategies at all, you just lose. And it just, I don't understand. Like, pick a side BHVR. And here's a little explanation of the new status effect that you also get when being unhooked, which removes your grunts of pain, scratch marks, pools of blood, suppresses your aura, stealth mode, essentially, which I don't mind that being a thing when being unhooked. I don't care. That's fine. But also, I don't necessarily see the point when we don't get an unhook notification. Tomes lore, I've never been really into the tomes, so y'all tome enjoyers, Pixel Bush, enjoy that. This is something else I want to talk about. The shape. Major update. We got a Myers rework, and I gotta say, it sounds so dumb, but also so incredibly enjoyable. So, no more tiers to power at all. You have two modes, Stalker mode and Pursuer mode. So Stalker mode appears to essentially be current tier 1. You're slower, undetectable, and you can stalk. And then he can switch to Pursuer mode, which appears to basically be tier 2, but he can't stalk. So it becomes a normal M1 killer when he's in that mode. And then his new tier 3 equivalent, which is Evil Incarnate. Survivors aren't exposed anymore. It's a different thing now. So now, he has a bigger terror radius, increased volt speed, and a new ability. So to all you dash slop haters out there, I have bad news. Myers is dash slop now. You can see in this GIF right here, he is speed. And this is terrifying and so dumb, and honestly, I love it. So basically, he's the pig. He can charge up a dash, and unlike the pig, the distance of the dash changes depending on how long you hold it down, but it still appears to be basically the pig. Myers has kind of gone from a unique killer who has to manage his time and chase as well to tier up and get pressure kind of later in the game to a mix between the Oni and the pig, which is questionable, but I kind of fuck with it. I should also mention that his dash power does down instantly. They don't show it in the GIF because Dwight is already injured, but it does seem to down instantly. Also, he can break pallets with this now. So again, Pig Oni. He's Pig and he's Oni. For people who prefer his old playstyle, Fragrant Tuft of Hair will change Evil Incarnate to function like old Myers, offering an exposed effect and no slaughtering strike. For the price of running an iridescent add-on, you get to play as what they have deemed as an inferior version of the killer. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I must say, I am all for giving reworked killers an add-on that changes them to a previous state. They did that kind of with Freddy, and I am all for this idea. I'm not sure how I feel about it being an iridescent, but it's definitely something I like the idea of. I like the concept. They also changed the clown. Again, I don't know how this didn't happen before he made it to live, but yeah, increased activation time of the Afterpiece antidote and increased how long the Afterpiece tonic's hindered effect lingers after leaving the smoke. It appears they've made it where he can't just throw a yellow bottle at his feet and zoom anymore, and they buff the duration of the hinder penalty for purple bottles, which is good. It's a good start. We'll have to see what exactly the numbers are on this to understand if this is actually going to fix the issues, but it sounds like they are at least listening. The unknown got some changes, and these are changes that give me a lot of hope because they increased his vertical camera range, which sounds like such an odd thing, but it's because of Springtrap. Springtrap can hit orbitals over loops with his axe, and after they figured that out, they looked back at the unknown and said, hey, what if the unknown can do that? Which is a very good choice on their part. It gives me hope for future killer changes because it's like, it's very clear that now they're learning from the new killers they add and applying what they learned to older killers, which is good. Some mild Dark Lord changes, vampire form changes, wolf form changes, bat form changes. It looks like they attempted to fix kidnap tech a little bit, so that's good. Any nerf to Kaneki is a good thing. The Oni gets more blood when hooking a survivor now, so that's good. Rewarding hooks is a good idea. And they're changing a bunch of perks. So, in summary, massive nerfs to slugging. Being on the ground for a minute and a half, you get to pick yourself up, and it doesn't appear there's any limit or deactivation prerequisite. Nothing. You just get to pick yourself up, which sounds... yeah, we don't like slugging, but also... what the fuck? And the tunneling changes just, like, again, it seems like all they can come up with as a solution to problems now is saying, oh, well, we'll just make this perk base kit. And that's all they can come up with. And it's just, like, yeah, tunneling, slugging, not exactly the most fun thing to go against, but also I need DVD to stop doubling down on its made-up etiquette. I don't know. This doesn't seem great. This seems painful. And yeah, as a killer main, base kit, pop, and barbecue sound great, but also I don't want that. That's the thing. Sure, it's good for playing as killer, but I don't want it. It's just, they're just throwing us bones, saying, oh, well, clearly we've made the killer gameplay experience miserable by adding these changes, so let's throw them a bone and make a couple more perks base kit. Thank you, Behavior. Thank you for slowly making perks an obsolete mechanic. You're doing fantastic. The Myers changes, I'm excited to try these out. These sound fun as hell, but also stupid as hell, which makes them sound even more fun. And Clown, Kenneth, Mr. Hawk, I pray that they know what they're doing with you, because, good God, you're awful right now. Anyway, I think that's basically everything I had to say. This is simultaneously awful and incredibly interesting. Am I excited? No. Am I interested? Yes.